what comes to mind for you when you think about sales and how it's changed since you and I started in 2010? What are like the first things that pop in your head?
I mean, in 2010, I would even go back further, really, but the first thing is how sort of different the mediums are in terms of like outreach, right?
Yeah.
Like there was a point in time where like you would dial for dollars, you'd actually pick up the phone and call people, or
Yeah.
I started in local radio. I would set an appointment and then I would just look for businesses in the area that I thought were relevant. I'd walk in their door.
Right.
Uh,
I did the same.
and I would say, I think we were talking about it. I was like, if you like called somebody now, like unsolicited, I feel like they'd like call the police or something.
Yeah, I know they'd get upset. I do too. I actually think it would be like a hostile reaction. Like, what are you doing? Yeah.
Right. But, but you can go even further, right? Like I was talking to my business partner and I think she said the same thing you said, which is she used to send handwritten like letters to people.
Yeah.
But I mean, imagine a world where you're selling without the internet. I mean, that obviously existed. It seems like crazy to talk about that, in the age of, where everything is in personal email or even, over Slack or whatever. But, think of a time before fax machines or anything where it's just like you would walk into places and find people and sell them. So
right.
I think, we'll sort of talk about like how sales is the same, but I think the biggest difference is how you actually find people, find prospects, and ultimately connect with them. Right.
Right. Right. I mean, that's the thing, right? At the end, it's all about connections. I probably say that the internet probably just made it easier to have a lot more players than it was before, right? So a lot more noise, but there was noise before too. So whether you were fighting it out with 100 partners or 10 partners, you were still fighting it out with partners. But I think that's one of the big changes too. But yeah, that's always been my struggle, which is, we're all kind of over reliant on the only form of communication that seems to work, which is email. So it makes it challenging for sure. And I'm always constantly thinking about ways to sort of move beyond that. I mean, even this is an example, right? I do this podcast because it's like a way to maybe create some content to sort of share with people and stand out a little bit. But that's my biggest challenge. What do you think? Like, so we're talking about the internet and technology. And so you like give me examples where you feel like that's helped the process for you versus or do you think that it hurts the process? Like, what do you think about it overall?
It's interesting. And one thing we'll probably end up talking about is, when you talk about sales is empathy and things like that, like understanding, the mentality of the person across the table from you. But like, I'd be curious to ask a buyer if there are any that exist